Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the Garage Gym workout series. So we're back onto squats again, so a little bit of progression from next week. All the warm-ups are going to stay the same, focusing on the same muscle groups. The squats are going to come down a little bit in reps, up a little bit in weight, but nothing too different. Just a little bit of progression, and we'll do that for one more week, so it'll be the 3-week phase then, and then we'll look to change up some of the exercises. So let's get straight into the warm-up. So stretching wise, we're going to be opening up our hip flexors, our glutes and our ankles to get really good depth on that squat. So we'll start with the hip flexors. So mat or cushion up against the wall. Pop that knee into the corner of the wall. Lift the upper foot forward. So you've got 90 degrees here. Keep the left hand down. Inhale. Exhale, push the hips forward. We're going to go for 5 breaths. So you'll feel the stretch start down on the quad. And as you release into it, you'll get further up into the hip flexors here. So the tighter those are, if you sometimes squat and you get a little bit of a pinch in the front of your hips here, that's your hip flexors being a little bit tight. So if you get that, then do this every day until you don't, basically. So after your 5 breaths, just sit up nice and tall. Feel all the muscles opening up through the chain here. And we're going to swap onto the other side. So same again, inhale, exhale, push through, 5 breaths. And then sit up nice and tall. So we'll be using the same equipment that we used last week for the squats. So if there's an exercise or exercises that you feel you haven't got the equipment for, then drop me a comment below or a message, private message, and I'll come up with some alternative for you. There's always a way. It's got to be a bit more creative than usual in these times. That's the only difference. And then we're going to come up a little bit higher, get some progression in. So as you notice, we're keeping these stretches nice and active. We don't want to do too much static stretching before we go into a strength workout, because that's going to sort of just lose those fast twitch muscle fibers in the ATP stores. You want to keep that. So nice and smooth stretching, or PNF stretching if you want a technical term for it. So 5 again, and then push up against the wall. So I'm pushing through this leg here, I'm squeezing this left glute, posterior pelvic tilt, and I'll really get deep into those quads and hip flexors. And then we'll go on the other side, raise. So with stretching in your warm-ups, you want to stick to the ones that you feel the most benefit from. And you want to stick with them until you don't get as much benefit from it, because your body's then adapted to it, you've addressed that weakness and moved past it. So it's as much to do with actually lengthening the muscles as getting the mind ready for the workout as well. Because for the last, say, probably about 6 months I've been doing these exact stretches, this exact warm-up before my squats, so my mind now knows that we're going to squat today. So we're building up to that. And when you're nice and high, push off that right foot, back up against the wall, squeeze your glute through, and with that lower back into the wall as much as you can. Nice and aggressive in there. And then same on the other side. So if you're watching this series for the first time, then I'd recommend going back to episode 1. I'll be talking a bit more in depth about these stretches and what we're trying to achieve from them. If you're looking to start the program, then yeah, start from session 1. This is going to be a 9-week series, taking you through a periodized sort of linear progression really. So if you've never done an actual program before, then this is really good for beginners, intermediates and advanced as well. So that's the hip flexors done. Let's move into the glutes now. My favourite stretch for the glutes before squatting is call it a hip on the box stretch. It's like a raised pigeon pose. So you want your front leg, the shin bone here, horizontal to the surface that you're on. This left leg gets tucked in, so it's pointing straight down and trying to force it in as much as possible. This will then force a stretch on the right glute here, piriformis area, and you're going to bring the chest down over the top to develop that stretch even more. And the whole time I'm trying to push this foot and knee down through the box. So I'm pushing down to activate that right glute and then stretching. So inhale, squeeze, exhale, stretch. Inhale, squeeze, exhale, stretch. So 5 breaths on each side, and that'll open up those glutes. Okay. And then third exercise stretch we go for is an ankle stretch. So we're going to do the one where we put our foot on the box. We're trying to get this knee as far forward as possible whilst keeping the heel down. And then the progression on that is to put some weight on the knee, keep the chest up as you normally would in a squat, and then let the weight force the knee down and forward. So you'll feel a stretch in the calves or the Achilles area. If you feel a bit of a pinch in the front of the foot here, that could be a little bit of a restriction for you. So if you do, let me know and I'll come up with a different exercise for you with a band distracting it as well. So let that one sink in, 10-15 seconds, and the same on the other side. Keep that chest up. So this is the angle we want our knee going in the squat. It's tracking over the middle toe. Biggest mistake I see on this one is people stretching like that. That's a not good position where we want to be in the squat, so we just don't teach our body to go there. We tell our knee to go straight over the middle toe. So the hips are open, hips are square going forward. So it's nice and specific for what we're trying to do today. Okay, so there's the stretches. One round of that is plenty, and then we'll go on to the high volume warm-up next. Okay, so into the warm-up now. Same 3 exercises as last week. We do banded Romanian deadlifts to warm up your hamstrings and glutes, single leg step-ups to warm up the quads, and then a banded crunch to warm up the abs. So let's get straight into it. So banded RDLs, come shoulder width, toes pointing forwards, grab your band, shoulders back, knees are in line with the hands, and you're pushing your hips forward. Shoulders back, abs engaged, push your hips back, a little bend in the knees, and then push the hips forward. So the knees bend, but they don't come forwards. That's the important thing, okay? So you're just pushing back into the hamstrings, squeezing the glutes forward. Nice and slow on the way down, and then squeeze your butt nice and hard on the way up. Feel that balance on the middle of the foot, so you're not coming onto the toes, you're not falling back onto the heels. You're pushing those legs through the floor. Okay, and then into the step-ups. So one leg at a time. Think of it as a single leg squat. So all the weight is going through this leg. This back leg is as passive as possible. All the way up, and then slowly lower yourself down. Tap on each leg. Make sure the knee is tracking out to the side. Make sure the bridge of the foot is strong, it's not collapsing in. Same on the left, so coming up with control and then lowering yourself as slowly as possible. Get a nice towel by the side. the banded crunch. So band up around a rack, a tree, whatever you've got. Hands are just holding on. There's no tension in the arms. Feet are underneath the hands. You're going to exhale and crunch down. So all you try and do is bring your rib cage closer to your hips. So this little movement here. As you exhale, you can contract your abs better, more deeply. So do it according with the breath. If you don't feel anything in the abs, it's probably because you're using your arms and you're pulling down like that. We're not trying to work the arms, we're trying to work the abs. This is just a little bit of resistance. Crunch in there. Sometimes when I do this, I can feel one side is like contracting a bit better, and the other side, the left, is contracting a bit better now. So on this one, I'm just going to pull down to the right a few times, and then back to the middle. That's better. Sometimes you can get a little bit of rotation going on in there, so you can just play around with the one side, play around with the other. You should feel all across the core here engaging as you're going down. That's about 20, so straight away back into the RDLs now. 4 sets of 20 on those guys, and then you're going to have tons and tons of blood in your hamstrings, glutes, quads and abs, ready for the squats. So that's the 4 rounds done for the warm-up now, guys. So your legs should be quite fatigued already, but that's the idea. It's a pre-fatigue before we do the squats. So the whole idea of this program is we're going to be using less weight than we normally would in the gym, while still getting stronger and improving our technique. So on to the main work now. We're going to do a giant set of 3 different exercises. We've got weighted step-ups, whatever weight you used last week. We're going to stick with the same with that. We're not trying to progress that one. Into the back squats, 1.5 squats, into the kneeling ab wheel. So rep-wise, last week we did 10, 8 and 6. I did 60 kilograms, 80 kilograms and 100 kilograms. So we're doing 8, 6 and 4 this week. So you're just going to take small little jumps. So I'm going to go 70, 90, 110 for my free working sets. Always warm up on the bar. No matter what weight you're squatting up to, you should always warm up on the bar. So you see a lot of people when they do empty bar squats not actually being able to get depth. And then when they put 60, 100 kilograms on, they can get the depth then, but that's actually the weight pushing them down. So you want to have that active flexibility of being able to hit the depth on your own. So no matter how strong you are, always warm up on the bar. Okay guys? So what I typically do on like an empty bar warm up is just play around with my feet, make sure they feel comfortable. We're trying to stick as narrow as possible with our feet pointing forwards as much as possible, okay? That's going to carry over more to our overhead pressing and our deadlifting. Yeah, if we're trying to squat big heavy weights, we're going to open up, turn the toes out, but that's not the goal of this program. So we're coming as narrow as we can. You're going to push the hips back, open up the hips, chest up, and then drop straight down. Just going to chill out at the bottom here, force those knees out, have a little bounce around to the one side and to the left, making sure it all feels good. Get some reps in there. Making sure you get that depth. Find in your position. If something doesn't feel good, don't put more weight on. Either do more reps or go and do some stretching. So this right hip flexor is feeling a little bit tight at the moment, so I'm just going to play around with it in here. That feels better now. So I've got control of that. I can get the depth myself without the weight forcing me down. So we're okay to put some more weight on there now. Going to go over a little bit of technique work on that ab wheel. Don't think I really talked about it much last week. So what we're trying to do on an ab wheel is work on the breathing and bracing, same as what we did on the deadlift session with the Romanian deadlifts. So before you roll out, try and contract your abs and pull your belly button in towards your spine. So what you don't want to see is someone arching like this from the side, okay? So the abs are contracted, you're rolling out as far as you can, then you're coming back in. So the sequencing is contract the abs, big deep breath, hold the breath, roll out and come back. So then the harder ones, if you find that not so bad, is going out all the way, coming back a quarter of the way to what you've gone out, all the way back out again, then all the way back in. So that's just a way to overload them. As we're bringing the reps down, you may get more of those in. Technique and the rigidity of that core is the most important thing. So if you feel like you can't hold that, just back off the length on that one, okay? So warm up on your main movement until you get to your first working set. So for me it's going to be 70. And then we're going to go straight into 8 reps, which will be 4 on each leg of the step ups. 8 reps, 1.5. 8 reps on the arm wheel. Rest up, and then we put more weight on for 6, more weight on for 4, just on the squats, okay? So enjoy. work done there. That's all the strength work. We did a high volume warm up, which is going to count as the assistance. I've got a live conditioned squat session to do later. So strength work, training work is done there for me. So what I want you to move on to doing now is 10 to 20 minutes of lower body conditioning work. So have a look on the group we've got for the conditioning circuits. If you're not on the group, give me a message, I can send them over to you, not a problem. I'm going to finish up with some heavy walkouts, same as last week, gone up to 240 today. I'm going to try and stand there 30 seconds a minute, we'll see what happens. This is to make my core a lot stronger, get used to heavy weight being on the shoulders for quite a long period of time in build up for a charity fundraiser I'm doing. Not sure when I can announce the details on that because of the current situation, but stay tuned because it's definitely happening, it's definitely coming. So let's give this 240 a go, see how long I can hold it for. Okay, so I managed 60 seconds there. That felt shaky as hell, but we got there, it felt good. So until next time guys, stay at home, stay safe and stay strong.